Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this free webinar, Answering the Unknown Questions in Recruitment and Staff Development. Webinar Wednesdays is a series of webinars made possible through the Nova Scotia Tourism Technology Project, funded by Tourism Nova Scotia. Tynes is pleased to be a part of coordinating this initiative for industry to participate in. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce today's presenters. First, I'd like to introduce Eva, and she has 13 years experience in the human resource development field. A former director with the Canadian Tourism Human Resource Council, she now works as a skills consultant and is a PDA certified analyst. With a degree in business and education, she understands the business and people side of things. She currently lives in Ottawa with her husband, 5-year-old son, and has a 3-month-old baby girl. Eva collaborates virtually with clients and colleagues in Canada, the UK, and in Germany. Our next presenter is Jose, and Jose has 25 years of experience in corporate financial planning, operations management, sales and marketing, and strategic management. He offers a pragmatic, performance-based business coaching and development approach. The experience of having started 3 different companies from their inception to multi-million-dollar sales volume nurtured a visionary, goal-driven, strategic management perspective that helps Jose advise and support the growth of new and established organizations. At the end of the webinar, we will do a draw for 3 complimentary uses of PDA for 5 people in your organization. So I'm just going to hand it over to our presenters. Enjoy, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. This is Jose Rodriguez, and I want to welcome you, and thank you, Tiffany, for the introduction. Before we get started, I would like to do a little poll to better understand your objectives for joining us today. Eva, would you be able to help us with that?
I can see the poll on my end. Can the participants see it? If the participants can see it, feel free to start voting, and then we know it's working. This is the first time we're using the polling feature. Yes, there we go. Jose, it's working. Can you see?
Not on my end, but I'm glad that it's working. I had to close mine so that it can work.
That's the tricky part with multiple speakers and organizers and this and that. So currently we have 60% improve our staff development, 20% improve our hiring, and okay, it's gone up a little bit more. Everybody voted. Okay, time's up. So the voting results on the objectives of the participants today, 17% answered they want to learn what personality assessments can do for them. Another 17% want to learn more about how they can improve their hiring, and 67% want to learn how they can improve their staff development. So I think it's fair to say that there's definitely an emphasis on staff development together with hiring and just what personality assessments are about in general.
Glad to hear those results, because that means that you have come to the right webinar, and we hope that you will learn and will get good fruits of these minutes that you're going to invest in out of your busy schedules. So in order to start, I'll have to. Okay.
Yeah, I've closed the poll. You should be able to switch over to the presentation now.
Yeah, I'm trying to close that poll, and I don't see the access on it. Can you close it on your end by any chance?
I have closed it on my end, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you. Here's our agenda for today, and we'll try to use the time very efficiently. I'm going to tell you who we are, and then what is the market for assessments. Then we'll talk about this specific tool, the PDA, what we call the best kept secret. Then what we offer and what the benefits of this tool are. Who we are. PDA is the name of the tool, and the company is also called TDA International. And since the 2004, more than 5 million people have trusted the tool for their personnel assessments. It's available worldwide, and we support multiple languages. We are so proud to say that at this point, we include English, French, Spanish, Russian, Arabic, Farsi, so Greek and Italian. It's a very intuitive and validated tool, and everything is done in real time. All we need is a connection to the internet. We have offices throughout the world, in North America, South America, in Africa and Asia, Australia, Europe, and it's a very extensive tool used by many multinational and small companies. 90% of our customers are typically the smaller organizations with 50 to 100 employees, but it can be used in organizations that are from single individuals all the way to tens of thousands of individuals. What is the market for assessments? Aberdeen Group 2 years ago had some of those studies where they find out what's happening with the trend of these tools. And some of the conclusions are, number one, that these tools are very good at identifying candidates likely to have the greatest impact. Number two, they help to identify the competency gaps for individuals. Therefore, when you discover the competency gaps, then you can develop programs to close those gaps, development of your staff. Number three, identify the team fit and building teams, work collaboration. Number four, to evaluate the promotional readiness of employees, succession planning, new opportunities. And number five, assigning the team members based on fit. How many times we have a special project, so we have tasks, or we have opportunities, and we don't know who the right person is and where we can put it or what is the right team, so that we can create a fit to obtain the results that we would like to have. And how they work. They work online. It's the most beautiful thing today, as you all know. We have an internet connection. We go, a couple of clicks, and right, we're there. However, we also have conventional methods with paper and pencil if needed. Now, the administration online, it's in a controlled environment, and you say, well, people cheat when they do it online. They put somebody else to do it, and so on and so forth. Our tool has built-in algorithms that determine the validity of the tool. As a matter of fact, on the report, it will indicate the consistency indicator will tell you whether or not the information is valid. The results are interpreted by qualified consultants, but it's so easy to read that you, as a user of the tool, very quickly can interpret the results, because the results are not only written, but also graphic. How does it work? I'll give you a second to look at this. It looks like a complex thing, but it's a very simple thing. We had the screening and selection for the applicants. We perform the background check. We do the hiring. And after the hiring, we have this onboarding process. And that's when the fun begins, because we have an ongoing evaluation. We have performance evaluations every 6 months, every 1 year, every number of times. Then we have leadership development. But then we have a proactive turnover management. What does that mean? It means that we lose some, we gain some, we see misfits, we see problems, and so on and so forth. So we have to go into this process from the onboarding and the leadership development to this proactive turnover management. The real question, more than the system overview, is the conclusion that is written there on the bottom of the screen. When evaluating an HR assessment solution, such as the one that we're presenting today, the firms must consider the comprehensiveness of the solution by asking the question, does this meet all my needs? So if my needs are for hiring purposes, is this tool going to help me? If it is for reducing turnover, is it going to help me? Is it for skill development? Is it going to be for leadership development? Is this going to help me? So we believe we have a tool that will help you with all of those things. That's what we like to call this the best kept secret. Now, as you are familiar, there's hundreds of unique firms that are selling personnel assessment products. Now, ours is validated by the AIOBP, American Institute of Business Psychology, and there are many other tools. These are many of the tools that some of you are probably familiar with. PDA International is being accredited to be multi-language, multicultural, and multi-position. We're international. There's others like Achievers, CBCI, these Harrison, and so on and so forth. And at the end of this presentation, when I have the opportunity to ask questions, and you will be able to ask me questions if you want to compare with some of those, in case you have seen it or believe on those. Ivan, would you like to?
Absolutely, I'll take over from here. So here's a scenario that plays out too often in many businesses. Of course, seasonality, entry-level jobs, part-time employment in tourism and hospitality businesses can make this conversation an even bigger challenge for you and your colleagues. And even if businesses decide to invest in developing their people, there's sometimes not enough budget or not enough motivation to also invest in tracking and quantifying the benefits. So the next part of the presentation will provide you with some information that can also help you make that business case for your property. Now this slide that Jose just put up shows just a few of the more easily recognized household names that have used PDA around the globe. And you obviously notice Sheraton and Best Western. Those are just the two properties that use PDA across the majority of their properties. So across a wide variety of them. But there are other hospitality and tourism businesses that use PDA for just some of their locations, and they're not on that side. Now let's get down to what is PDA? What does it actually do? So in a nutshell, it allows you to gauge a person's fit and potential by identifying the behavioral profile and also the relevant transferable skills. It's basically, in my opinion, a personality assessment 3.0. It combines what is already tried and tested, what's been tried and tested for decades, but it also has features that many others don't. And I might as well confess now that I'm absolutely in love with it, so I'm biased. I can't help it, and you will probably notice throughout the presentation. So things to note are, it's very simple. It takes as little as 10 minutes. In fact, when I answered it for the first time, it took me 6 minutes or so. And I was thinking, what, 6 minutes? This can't work. This is way too easy. And I'm not kidding. I still have the email that I wrote to Jose, and I said, Jose, you know what? I don't think this tool is serious, because there's no way you can do this type of stuff in this little time. And well, I was convinced otherwise. It's been validated really quite thoroughly with lots of evidence that it can actually predict job success, and not just from the hiring perspective, so whether for a job candidate, but also for an existing employee, and it can help to make more informed staff development decisions based on the report results. Another 3.0 feature in my mind is that PDA provides customizable reporting. because you guys are busy and you have lots of other things on the go, and you don't want hundreds and hundreds of pages of report from a tool like that. You want exactly what you need for exactly the purpose you need it for, and the customization feature actually lets you do that. Now you might be thinking, this all sounds really great, but tell me exactly what can I use it for? And because of its flexibility, there actually isn't an easy answer. It really depends on your pain points and your particular business needs. There are a number of things you can use it for. So for example, for hiring, you can place people in the right jobs. You can screen your top candidates for certain behaviors or skills. And especially the ones that are difficult to figure out by just reading a job application or interviewing them. There was actually one validation study done that showed that PDA produces the same results, or comparable results, as if you had multiple seasoned interviewers reviewing a person's job application, reviewing a person's resume, and doing a face-to-face interview. So imagine the people hours that go into doing this, and PDA can literally do it in minutes. Now, I said this is for hiring, but clearly you can do the same thing for staff development. Another thing that it's used for is to assign appropriate responsibilities. So you're trying to fill maybe an existing position from within, and it can help you, for example, identify someone's decision-making style, communication style. It can give you rich information on what tasks a person should ideally be doing so that they're most productive, and not only most productive, but also happier and more satisfied, more engaged in the end. It can help you lead more successfully. Now that works both ways. PDA can actually help with providing information on how somebody should be led. So it gives tips or strategies to a supervisor on how what type of motivation a certain person would respond to. But on the other hand, it also identifies different types of leaders. And if you were doing some kind of a leadership development, or you were filling a leadership position, then it can be used for that specifically. It can help you to coach and train effectively. It's all together. It just allows you to not only identify the strong points of somebody, but also the weaknesses and where the development opportunities are. Then again, it can help you with work teams. PDA can provide you information if a certain person fits into a team, or to assemble a new team, whatever your particular need might be. Now, there are many applications of PDA, and there really are many. There are as many as different issues in the business. They do reflect on the bottom line of the client that seriously uses it. Obviously, if somebody just subscribes to it but doesn't really seriously use it in their decision making, then the results will probably be not as impressive. But that definitely helps to make better decisions regarding people issues. Now, this is, as you reflect on this information you've just heard, which phase, Jose, I just want to do another poll.
Okay.
I'm curious to hear what you guys thought. Which phase can PDA best be helpful? Is it screening? Sorry, I need to launch it here. I'm trying to multitask. Do you think it's best used for screening, for selection, for onboarding, for development, for turnover management? And in this poll, I've set it so you can check more than one. So you don't have to select one, just check all that you think apply from what you've heard so far. And perhaps you don't feel like you can answer that yet, and maybe we can do the poll again after we have a more in-depth discussion on the tool and what it can do. But we definitely want to hear from you now as well. Okay, selection's the front runner at the moment. I have 57% voted. If anybody else wants to vote, go ahead. I have 71% have responded. Anybody else wants to respond? Otherwise, I'll close it. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'll close it and I'll show you guys the results. So Jose, can you see the results now, or do I have to read them to you?
I don't see him.
Okay, so we have 20% have said they think it's most helpful for screening. 100% have said they think it's most helpful for selection. 40% said it's most helpful for onboarding, 60% for development, and 40% for turnover management.
Excellent. Okay, so let's move on from that part to the what we offer. PDA solutions are, as you have learned so far, to improve the attraction, the selection, the retention, and the development of the individuals. And we have a tool that is suitable for small, medium-sized, and multinational corporations. So it's a tool that fits all sizes. A big advantage that we have if you have used any other tools is that many other tools will charge you per report, per usage, per frequency. Well, we think that it should not be focused on how many times it's going to be used, but how the information is going to be used. Therefore, we only charge one time per the person. And all the information, the complete series of reports that can be generated with that single usage are yours in your own database that you have total control over. Big advantage. Now, what do you receive directly as a benefit is that you de-risk those hiring decisions, a boost in staff productivity. We have one part of the report that tells you about the sales style of the person, and you said, oh, but not everybody's in sales. It's not referring to a direct sales, but you know, everybody sells something in life. We sell our work to our employer every day. We sell ourselves to our husbands and wives, so we let them know that we're the best in the world. So we all play a sales role. It helps you avoid the workplace conflict, and ultimately, if you get a better fit, you're going to have an optimal turnover. See how it doesn't say 0 turnover, because indeed, sometimes you need to replace some people when it's not the right fit. But if you have the right fit, then you have the optimal turnover. Some of the applications will be for the job fit for people. To customize roles, I wanna tell you something here very quickly about the customization of roles. PDA has already built in 22 profiles. These profiles already built in there are what we call predefined positions. Those 22 profiles are divided into 3 categories: sales, leadership, and administration, that cover a wide range of alternatives and possibilities in reference to the behaviors of each of those job positions, but also has the advantage of customizing positions. So you might have your front desk situation not resolved, and you're trying to fit and design the role and try to identify the fit for that position. Or maybe a butler's position, or maybe somebody in the kitchen that for some reason have been able to stick with the organization. You can customize the role, and then you can find the fit. Other applications is for definition of responsibilities, for coaching and training, for development of competencies and gaps, for career path exploration, and ultimately for creating a productive workforce. Eva, do you want to, before we open the floor, you want to explain about the 3 complementary uses of the PDA that we have into the participants?
You mean the competencies career exploration?
I'm talking about the,
Sorry,
before we go into the question.
You caught me. I was just preparing the draw. I was just comparing my list of participants with the people.
Oh, I'm sorry. Perfect. Perfect. Not a problem.
Tell me again what you would like me to talk to? I'd love to.
Well,
you
let me,
can do it. It's fine.
I went probably a little bit too fast with it. I tend to be too short with some of the explanations because I know the tool so well that I get excited just thinking about, okay, you got to taste it. It's like somebody tells you, you know, you want some ice cream and there's a unique flavor that you never had, and you said, what does it taste like? Well, you gotta taste it. That's the only way you can find out if you like it or not. So the PDA, it's such a powerful tool and such a simple tool that I said, you know, you gotta taste it. You gotta try it. Just like Eva was saying, you know, the first time that she took it in 6 minutes, and then she tells me, there's no way. How can this be? And once she started learning and became a certified PDA analyst, that was that moment of, wow, this is really good. We really need to get this tool in the hands of more and more people and more organizations. So we have something for you that Eva, I don't know if you are ready to do the draw.
Yeah, sure. Let's do the draw now so people don't feel like they have to stay for the discussion if they have to dash out. But I hope we do have actually a conversation. That's why we sort of rushed through the presentation, because we really want to talk to you as well. Yeah, so I am ready. I've just adjusted the list. Tiffany needs to give me the screen. Now this is a web tool that we're using, and I hope no inappropriate sidebar ads come up. Right now it's an ad for Swiffer, so I think that one's kosher enough. Okay, can everybody see this mini web tool, random name picker? We're being very transparent in how we're choosing the 3 people for the complementary use.
I can see it.
I'm just realizing nobody can answer me, so I'll have to go with you, Jose. Tiffany, you can see it too?
I can see it.
Okay, so let's start with the first one. Pick a random name. So the first winner of a complimentary use for 5 people is Cindy McKinnon. I'm just writing this down here for posterity's sake. The next person is Jennifer. I think you pronounce it McKean. And the third person, Janet Wallace. All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll probably get in touch with the winners via Lynn from NSTHRC in the next weeks and have a discussion on how you'd like to use it. But I think now we're ready to have a discussion about what you heard and what you think about this tool, and let's go from there.
Can you get the screen back so I can?
Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness, what did I do? Where is my screen? Oh no. Tiffany, can you just take it from me and fix whatever I just did? There we go.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so we're going to be opening the floor for 2 questions. If you want to write a question and send it, and we'll see whether Tiffany or Eva or I get it, and then we can give you the answer. Yes.
Hi, Jose and Eva and everyone else. If nobody has any questions at this point in time, I am going to be sending out some follow-up questions as well as a survey. So certainly put your comments and feedback in that survey, and I can send those along to Eva and Jose. That way you'll have their contact information if anything does arise. And yeah, I think that would be okay with you guys, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
If any of you wants to get the information down, we have a direct telephone line for any of you. You can contact Lynn, or you can contact Eva directly. Both of them be happy to help you or direct you to the appropriate channel so that you can get the answer, the help, and the assistance that you might need.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to leave that on the screen for a few minutes so that you can jot the numbers down if you want to.
Okay.
And I want to thank everyone for their time today. We really appreciate your participation and apologize for any of the little glitches that we might have. But